Hello and welcome to Kaylee, your first ever State of the Poonion address.
The what?
It's a symposium of all things Playotic.
A symposium.
No, we actually we haven't done this in a long time. The last time we did kind of like a State of the Playoffs kind of thing, it was actually live stream. Like, God, it feels like 2 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it may have actually been around the time that I started Plastic Ducks. We were kind of going through a sort of content shift, and I just kind of went live one night. And it's just like, hey, let's talk all things Playotic.
And then Ducks.
And Ducks. I mean, it's the perfect opportunity. So yeah, we've got a lot of things going on. If we can sort of address the elephant in the room.
That's a joke that y'all don't get yet.
It's a joke that y'all don't get, but hopefully will soon. A lot of you who are watching this right now probably have seen the Discord announcement a few weeks ago that Playotic is shutting down. And for a while, that was very much true. But part of the reason we're doing this video today is to share with you some hopefully exciting news, unless you were all excited for our demise and ultimate downfall, in which case, suck it, nerds. Kaylee, for people, I mean, you've been working with Playotic for a while now. Like, I mean, that first Coca-Cola experience, well, the second Coca-Cola experience we did, which was your first like experience with D&D.
Yeah. First D&D experience ever was the Coca-Cola experience.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Not sorry.
I still remember and have nightmares about bear traps. Bear
traps. Man, Chase made that moment, everything and then more.
Yeah.
But that was like July 2023, something like that. And shortly after that, you started doing clip compilations for us and helping make short form content and like editing videos and just like helping out. You were and since the more and more responsibility has come your way since you started helping out with GalaxyCon, you saw how poor of a people person I am and was like, hey, Nolan, you're doing great. But this is disorganized as fuck, and I can do better.
Very much head patty, like
it was very patronizing.
Which is totally my personality.
Yeah, it was after New Orleans.
Such a bitch.
It was so abundantly clear that we needed additional help, and you have risen to the occasion and then some. Helping behind the scenes, even though a lot of people may not know necessarily who you are, other than Kaylee plays in chat or occasionally guesting as a player in our games, or more recently, Kaylee runs a game.
Yeah.
So I guess we can just kind of dive right into this in terms of what will become of Playotic. And right now, in the short term, after there's been, should I kind of like go into what has happened? Like, I like to be as transparent as possible, and I don't necessarily want to like go into every nitty gritty thing, but I think people deserve to kind of know like what has led to this decision a little bit. I mean,
I do kind of want to add that like when I see, so you can add this forever, I don't care. But when I see something that I believe in, I have a strong like draw to it. So very much Playotic, something that I was very much drawn to, that a lot of people probably feel very similarly where they're in chat. Like I know people like Hannah and Gup also felt very drawn to Playotic and wanted to help in ways they could. And I just know that I'm very much the type of person that helps in any way they can, and then some. So yeah,
we have a great sort of team and community of people, because like there's always been this blurred line of where Playotic membership / admin ends and where the community begins. Like Potato Man has been on a number of games, and he's helped with our social media stuff, helping us reach certain follower thresholds on TikTok so that we could put a link in our bio, which is absolutely massive. We've had Monkey Man, who's just the ultimate hype man, just ride or die since he found our community forever ago. We have so many people, 0077, Arts in Motion, who's been here basically since the beginning. A lot of people have been here for 40, 50, 60 plus months. And it truly is humbling. Like, I don't understand why they watch this sometimes. I'm like, I look at it, I'm like, you all deserve better. And we're like trying to like give you better.
That's also why like the production value keeps increasing, because we're just like, we're very much passionate about giving the community something that we feel like they deserve.
Yeah. It's like we're ever raising our own bar. And it's like, no, they deserve better than this.
Yes.
Like, and
like, by the way, if you didn't get a specific shout out, that doesn't mean we don't appreciate you. It's just more so like these are some people with specific examples who have basically stepped up, but there's people that are just incredible community members in general, like Darkman, iGator, like all you guys, Holdren, like just fantastic people in general. And we just are very grateful.
Yeah, there's genuinely too many to name.
That's kind of the point that I was like trying to make myself is that like there's so many that we're just like we can name a few at the top of our head, but there's going to be somebody missing. Like
unless we literally go through every like 1,600 plus followers.
Yeah.
Like, you could throw a dart at the follower list and we could name something great that they have done, or a time that they have been with us. There's like, remember this time when, Potato Wife, for example, like she got her name like on stream. I'm so sad that clip doesn't exist anymore. I don't know that we've ever seen it, but like she was hanging out in chat, or rather like talking through Potato Man, and like there was kind of a back and forth with Sumner and whatnot. And then next thing you know, True Potato Wife is in chat, and you're like, and it's been that way ever since. Like,
that's amazing.
There's so much that has happened in like the last 5-6 years that we've been doing Playotic, including heart palpitations, which brings us to our lovely segue into what has kind of happened. If I may sort of pull back the curtain a little bit, some of you may know I am not an original member of Playotic. Well, I'm an original member of Playotic, but not of Fateful Encounters. The original sort of crew that started all this, let me test my memory here. You know, there's Jen, Zach, Dylan, Sumner, Ash, and then Joe. I'm probably missing somebody there, but ultimately, like, what has started is so far from what we are now. And over that time, we've had these sort of cycles where, some people just want to show up and play games each week, and they have no real care or interest in the business management side of things, which is totally fine. That's not a slight against any of those people. It's just the amount of people that we have willing to do the business stuff has always been far exceeded by the amount of people that just want to have fun and play the games. And those responsibilities have always fallen on a very few number of people, to the point where they get burnt out. Some of you may know, like, Sumner went through a phase of burnout a long time ago, around the time Gup kind of joined Playotic. He fell in love with what we were doing and wanted to be a bigger part of it. And, we're like, hey, we all want to kill ourselves. Have at it, man. And he started running games for a while. And then I started doing stuff for a while. And Mick started doing stuff for a while. And it's always been like somebody does something until they can't anymore. And then there's somebody else to kind of pick up the slack. And there's never been this time where like we're all moving in the same direction at the same time. It's always like this domino effect of burnout. Like, we're never all invigorated at the same time, which has been deeply frustrating, because if we could get everybody equally enthused and mentally healthy all at the same time, who knows what we'd be capable of doing. We'd probably just burn the place down out of sheer chaotic energy.
So instead of burnout, we just set the place on fire.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really a lose-lose situation. But ultimately, for better or worse, I've been running Playotic for going on 2 years now. Mick has been running all the campaigns this past year, which is fantastic because it's taken a huge load off of my shoulders, not having to also put together content. But there's so much behind the scenes that I've been working on actively. And around the time of Extra Life Tabletop Weekend earlier this year, my heart started skipping, which was terrifying, especially because we live in America, where health insurance is not a right. It is a privilege that only few can afford, which is why we do Extra Life in the first place, by the way, which is still going on right now. So head on over there and donate till the end of the year.
Put the link here.
I'll put the link somewhere. But yeah, so my heart started skipping beats. I went to the cardiologist, did stress tests, all that kind of stuff. Ultimately, like, I'm fine. I'm healthy. Like, there's no, like, I'm not going to keel over at it. I'm not going to keel over at a moment's notice anyway, which was my biggest concern. I thought I was walking myself right into a heart attack. But ultimately, since April, it has not let up. It has just, and over time, I've noticed these patterns where, like, it's okay for a little bit, and then, like, something stressful happens, and, like, it starts fluttering for a couple days, and then it kind of, like, settles back into a rhythm. But it just, around middle to late October, we were discussing future content plans, and basically we've had this pattern of behavior for the last couple of years. I don't want to say behavior. That sounds like somebody's acting up, but we go through these cycles behind the scenes, and we were about to start another one. And as it was starting up and my heart was starting to freak out, and I was sitting there getting stressed out, watching this conversation unfold, for some people for the first time, for others for the 15th plus time. I had a realization that I couldn't anymore. I could not do it anymore. I was putting my health at risk for Playotic. And I fully admit in hindsight, and I've done my best to sort of apologize and make it known that I did not handle the situation well. Because intentions and actions, very different things. And I'm not trying to downplay my actions here. But what I had intended to do was simply say, guys, I can't run the show anymore. You handle it now. Like, I'll be here as a player, but, like, everything that I do for Playotic behind the scenes or in front of the camera, I can't anymore. It's on you now. But unfortunately, how it pretty much came out is, fuck y'all, I quit. And in the couple of days after that, there was a flurry of messages between Sumner and myself and Gup and Mick, basically about what was going to be happening. And I just, like, for y'all to figure out, like, I'm done. Like, it's for you to decide. I'm no longer making decisions for Playotic. For y'all. And so ultimately, the decision was made because, you know, Sumner's going through a big change in his life right now. He's moving out of the country. Gup's got a lot going on with his school and just all kinds of things in his personal life. Mick's got a kid, and, you know, this, that, and the other. Everybody's got something, right? But ultimately, when I functionally quit, nobody was either willing or able, or a mix of the two, to do what I've been doing. And so they decided, like, hey, maybe now is sort of the time that we sunset Playotic. But, you know, it's time that it goes to sleep. So from my understanding, there was a little bit of a discussion that it was going to be more of a hiatus than actually shutting down. And so when Sumner made the announcement that, like, that was the last campaign we're ever doing on Playotic, it caught me a little bit by surprise, but at the same time, like, not. It was a very weird, like, I was having a lot of visceral reactions to things that were happening. Because, I mean, ultimately, I was a viewer of Faithful Encounters to start, and now I'm here. So
would we call it failing upwards?
Failing upwards, yes. And so a lot of us have a lot of strong emotional ties to this stupid little thing that we've built. And I was feeling mad that it was dying. I was feeling guilty that I felt like I was the one killing it. But ultimately, like, I did sort of, like, re-engage in conversations with everybody. I did my best to apologize. I hope they understand that I was sincere in everything that I said, you know, apologizing for my actions and my behaviors. It doesn't make it right, but I hope they understand that, you know, that I was being truthful when I said everything that I said. But ultimately, I was the question that could never quite get answered, at least to my satisfaction, is like, why is Playotic ending, like, in my absence? Like, and I don't know if it's just a matter of like, I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into that question, because ultimately, while that question never did get answered, everybody kind of had the same, like, well, if you want to take it and do what you want to do with it, here's the keys, go ahead. We kind of like went back and forth for a day or two. We had like a big, conversation one night, sort of discussing all of this. And so in absence of anybody wanting to sort of take over Playotic at this point, failing upwards, I'm sort of taking control of it, for lack of better terms, which sounds icky. It sounds gross. But it's, to me, I would much rather, take what we have and continue to build something, rather than just watch it rot in a trash can on the side of the road because people are done playing with it, essentially. So
technically, they kind of gave it to me.
That's true.
They actually didn't give it to you.
That's true. That is actually true.
So I don't know if you want to include that or not, but I'm just saying, like, technically, like, the part of the conversation that I wasn't even really a part of, because, not to, like, again, pulling back a little bit of the curtain, I am and have been more so treated as the help. Like, I'm a extra awesome community member. So, and that's kind of what I've been treated as. And I'm fine with just being behind the scenes type person and not necessarily being involved with a lot of the discussions. But when Playotic essentially was dying and everyone was not really giving a reason as to why it was dying, I just kind of turned to Nolan and I was like, I'll take it.
Yeah. Because at that point I'd still, I was still quit. So that, you can be my boss. I don't care.
I'm a good boss lady. I have a boss lady sweater in the closet.
Yeah. But ultimately, like, that's kind of what led us to where we're at now. And so I wanted to kind of go over some things, what we had planned, what changes have been made to accommodate new plans. Just kind of like quickly, do like we did 2 or so years ago, where we just kind of like, hey, here's behind the scenes of what we got going on. Kind of invite you into the sort of inner sanctum of Playotic. So, because I know you all care about this as much as we do. You wouldn't be watching this video if you didn't. So, or you're hate watching. I don't know. In either case, love you. But so, just in the short term,
people who would hate watch my videos.
Yeah. In the short term, Playotic is going to continue. And I'm sorry if you see me looking off to the side here. I do have a couple of bullet points just to make sure that I don't miss anything. We're going to continue providing interactive tabletop streams and tabletop centric content. That is what I think everybody's kind of come to know and love and enjoy about Playotic. There's lots of great D&D and Pathfinder and other TTRPG channels out there. But as far as I'm aware, sorry, dogs are barking for a minute. So there's a lot of great channels out there that do what we do, but where I like to think that we differentiate ourselves, our purple cow, so to speak, is that we are very interactive. And I hope, at least the goal is, in not a sort of money grubbing way. Like I want people to be able to interact with our games in meaningful and impactful ways without it feeling like a gacha game or a loot box or like you're just throwing money at the screen, like 25 cents for advantage, like 50 cents for disadvantage. Like I want you to have an appropriate value for any money that you spend on supporting us. And I feel like a lot of other channels kind of miss that mark personally. And even more so channel points. I mean, rewarding you simply for watching the streams. I want to make sure that everybody has the ability to participate, even if they can't open their wallet, because I know times are freaking tough. A lot of people kind of like gloss over that fact and ignore it and like pretend everything's fine. Shit's on fire. And I want people to have fun. I want people to look forward to, hey, Playotics Live. That is, a guaranteed 1 to 2 hours where I can sort of disconnect from reality and have fun with my friends. And that's ultimately the goal. That is something that we had discussed towards the end of time is a blur at this point. But we had sort of an all hands meeting a while back discussing
in August.
Was it August?
Interrupt, but it was definitely closer to July.
Oh, it was
August.
after
It was
GalaxyCon,
right after.
right?
It was right after Raleigh.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it was after Raleigh. We kind of had an all hands sort of debrief about how GalaxyCon had went and our future roadmap. And I basically laid it out for everybody. Is like, hey, going forward, like every game, like it's got to have a bare minimum number of these interactions, because like to put on my little capitalist monocle, it makes money. Like, and if we want to continue to do this, not even necessarily at a professional level, but if we want to be able to invest in microphones and cameras and like improve the production value, so that like you're not hearing not hearing mic hisses and not like having bad video, we need to be able to invest in it a little bit.
Right. And going off like the making money perspective, when we say that, it's like, obviously we do this as a hobby. Like this is fun. Like we do have day jobs. So it's not necessarily like you have to support us in order for us to afford things.
Yeah.
However, we do appreciate anyone who's just like wanting to support us just to support us. And that is a very big thing on Twitch, YouTube, what have you. However, there's so much free content out there that we want to make sure that if you are supporting us, you are getting something of value in return. Yeah. So whether that be like, and my analogy is like, if you're going to go spend $10, $15 just to watch a movie, like from your movie ticket, probably just like a daytime one, because movie tickets are fucking expensive.
That's on the cheap end of a matinee nowadays.
Right. But like essentially, like if you're going to be spending that much, then our 2.5 hour live stream, if you're going to be spending 1,000 bits, then it needs to be the equivalent of something that you would go spend at a movie.
Right.
So essentially that's how we feel about it. So yes, there are plenty of people, and we do appreciate that there are people that just want to support you, like just giving away subs, like 10 gifted subs. And it's like, oh my God, thank you so much. But I've also seen people who just don't think people.
Yeah.
And it's very much, it's difficult, to kind of wrap my head around that, because I'm like, someone's just giving you money.
Yeah.
And that's what ended up as the interactions, because you can go watch any D&D stream, and like we want to make sure that the community itself is getting value out of the TTRPG content that is being made. Whether it be a full production value stream, like you've seen with the like Strahd, Saltmarsh, all that jazz, versus something like very low production value, but very interactive, like Kaylee Runs a Game or The Unprepared. So very like different types of scales. I just hit my microphone. But like that's kind of what we're going for. Like right. We are not famous people. We are not entitled to your money just because you want to watch us.
Yes.
We are not entitled to your time. So we want to make sure that when you are giving us time, we are giving you something of equal value.
Yeah. Nobody likes going to the store and spending, $25 on something that should be $5. And likewise, if you're going to cheer bits, I'm going to make sure that we swing on the high end of value than the low end. I hate seeing, somebody being super generous and supporting someone just for them to give oh, thanks, like, and then move on. Like, I can't even accept money in real life without feeling incredibly guilty. So if you are going to support us monetarily, and even with your time through the channel points, like, we want you to have something that is meaningful and valuable, that you can show off. And that's hugely important to me. And so that for that reason, like, I can't see us ever paywalling any of our content. I know we had discussed it in the past. Like, it's always going to be free. It's just going to be free with added stuff on top if you feel like supporting us, and we will make sure you get something in return. within the confines of the law and, raffle and lotto restrictions and what. There's a lot of stuff we can't do just because it's technically gambling. But we're going to do our best. And to that end, there's a lot of restructuring that's going to happen with a lot of the things that are going on with some people that are nobody's really departing, but at the same time, like
we can get into that in a second.
Right. Well, what I'm getting at is like we're going to be restructuring the Discord a little bit. We're going to be kind of renaming some roles. We're going to kind of declutter some of the channels. There's a lot that's going to change. It's not necessarily going to happen overnight, but we just want to let you know, like, if you start seeing stuff like somebody getting demoderated, for example, it has nothing to do. It's not that we're mad at them. It's not that we hate these people. It's just there is restructuring that is going to happen. So
and like behind the scenes with Twitch and whatnot, the people that are moderators have been given that responsibility because they want it, and they also want to be a part of the stream and in an active part of the community way. So if someone's getting demoderated, it's probably because they've asked us to like step down, or they've also said, or they've also just, you haven't seen them in like a year.
Right.
And there's nothing necessarily like wrong with that. Cause they're, as a moderator or as a community member, you are not, we're not entitled to your time.
Yeah, we're not paying you. You're volunteers.
You're volunteers. The point is that on the back end, people who don't know Twitch, you are only allowed a certain amount of moderators. And we would like to give swords to people that want to be a part of the community. And so that sometimes means taking away other people's swords.
Yeah. And I want to be abundantly transparent as best as I can, because I know how stuff like this tends to brew, side talk, and just kind of like, oh, why did so-and-so lose their moderator status? I wonder if they're like, that's not what's going on. It's literally just cleaning up some things, restructuring some things. So I don't want anybody reading into anything. Like we're not mad at anybody.
And also to say, if you are watching this video, like, we're not taking away your mod status.
Yes.
like the people that aren't watching this video, like you probably won't even notice. You're just like, oh yeah, they haven't been here in a year.
Yeah. It's just some cleanup. It's, we're sweeping the floors. We're getting ready for the next wave of stuff.
Monkey Man, if you message me asking if we're going to take away your mod status.
Dark Man, your hammer, it will always be yours.
I get a message from Monkey Man after this video.
Yes. Other short-term plans, though.
Okay, I swear to God.
We're continuing to, we're going to keep putting together the Extra Life stuff. I mean, that's, if nothing else, that is like the one bit of good that we are putting into this world. I like to think that there's more, but ultimately the mission statement that we've never settled on one, but we're trying to bring good into the world. I'm not a highly influential person. I'm like, this is my attempt to be the change that you want to see. I go through my day-to-day life, attempting and failing most often to, be that positive force of change. And this is one of the ways in which I feel I'm succeeding at it. I just want to continue. I hope that we can be a positive source of like a role model, for lack of better terms. Don't
be a role. No.
Don't treat me as a role model.
We're not a role model.
I just want other people to see, hey, you don't have to be a super influential person to create good in this world.
You just have to have some trauma.
Just have a little bit of trauma. Yeah. It makes you funny. And like, truly, I genuinely believe, as naive as it may be, if we all just woke up tomorrow and put a smile on our face and did our best to do one nice thing, the world would change overnight. And I'm hoping that if we just keep pushing that message, eventually we might see some positive change. But so for those of you that like the Extra Life Tabletop Appreciation Weekends, we want to see that Playotic Good initiative continue to grow and to branch out as it becomes more and more successful. 501c3 would just be like a dream come true to like those are lofty goals. That's not short term.
Big goal.
But big goal. That's a big goal.
Cinema.
We want to do good. As stupid and like white knighty as it sounds, like if there's nothing else that I leave in this world, I hope that I made one person smile one time. But long term, there's a lot of stuff that's going to change. We need to formalize the ownership of this thing, for agility and synergy and all those corporate buzzwords. It's necessary for the long-term growth of Playotic, because it's been just disorganized from the start. I mean, well, not from the start, but we've picked up a lot of administrative overhead over the years, with no clearly defined duties or roles or responsibilities, which makes decision making hard. And Playotic is always going to be Sumner's baby. First and foremost, like Sumner created Fateful Encounters, with a few other people, sure, but like it's his baby, and we wouldn't be here also without everybody that's helped along the way. Like, Gup has carried the cross of Playotic to his detriment many times. Mick has as well. There's been so many people that have like burdened themselves with keeping this going in many different ways. But ultimately, in order to sort of become more decisive and more business minded and make it sustainable in a way that like we don't have this happen where it implodes every so often, and to grow the cult of Playotic, we need to make some restructuring and formalize a few things. So you can, I say look forward to that. There's not really anything to look forward. It's just on the back end, like there's going to be some changes in terms of who's in charge of what. I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn here, but pretty much us. Like Gup's going to be involved, but like everybody else is just kind of like, yeah, you do whatever you want with it. So maybe that'll change over time. We don't know, but that's kind of a long-term thing. Along with, we want to sort of like lend our abilities to other creators. Like we're not like the most professional people in the world by any means, but we would love to help other people, set up their OBS. So like, I'm sure you've got a favorite creator in mind who probably like, or I say probably, somebody that like maybe always has audio issues, or like they're just always too quiet, or like they just, and some of these people just genuinely don't know better. They're following guides on the internet that say, hey, if your meter in OBS is in the red, that's bad, but that's not true. And some people just genuinely don't know better. So we would love to lend our know-how and our technical expertise to people. We would love to create, bandwidth allowing, we'd love to make title sequences for people. There's a lot of things we would love to do under sort of a production house banner, which is mostly her idea. If you want to expand on that at all, but I don't want to take credit for your idea, but it is something we're looking at.
Go ahead, take credit.
Well, that's really all I had to say. It's your idea, so
that's kind of basically it. Kind of going back, I think we didn't really gloss over the fact that like obviously Ash and Nolan are best buds, but Ash has made it very clear. Like, I don't necessarily want to discount the fact, like Nolan has pointed us out as the kind of figureheads or the people leading, is because we are doing stuff behind the scenes. From a technical perspective, Ash does a lot of idea working. Like,
if you like the branding of Playotic, you can thank her. She's the one that created the branding.
Yes.
She's the one that's done the marketing.
Yes, and she's she's very intelligent when it comes to the marketing. She's just has made it very clear that she wants to be involved when she wants to be involved. And it's nothing to do with the fact that she doesn't love Playotic. She absolutely adores Playotic. It's just a lot to do with the fact that she has a disability.
Yeah. And for the past 3 or 4 years, like a lot of people don't know and or realize this. Like a lot of the decisions I make aren't decisions that I make. I go talk to her for hours at a time sometimes about this stuff, and like she helps me work through stuff before ultimately making a decision.
Right.
So she is a huge influence on what we do here.
Yes. So I just wanted to make sure that we gave credit to where credit is due. Because even though, yes, like what Nolan said is true, a lot of the hands-on work that's being done is me and Nolan. But we can't discount the fact that I know we've shout out Mick, I know we've shout out Gup. But like, we truly also need to make sure that Ash is given
Yes.
quite a bit of credit. Sometimes, like, I don't necessarily want to compare apples to oranges on credit, but like, she's done a lot of apples, and some people have done more oranges. Like,
it's nebulous. It's really, and that's part of the problem. Is like there's been this very imbalanced feeling, even if it hasn't. Like, people contribute in different ways, which is amazing. We just need to sort of solidify some processes and procedures and responsibilities.
So it's also very hard. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to say it's also very hard when there isn't someone to go to with questions.
Yeah.
So, for example, on a social media perspective, if you had a question or wanted a clip, like if the community member was asking, like, "Hey, can we feature this clip?" and just asking the general public, and no one is necessarily like running something in regards to social media, and it's like it has to go by rule by committee, then that clip may take like 2 to 3 weeks to actually see the light of day,
right?
If at all. And so if there's someone in charge of something, then we can immediately take action.
Exactly. Like, hey, so and so requested, a clip from this VOD, make that happen, and then boom, it's done.
Yeah.
But we're starting to run a little bit long here, and we still have a lot to get through.
We'll cut some stuff.
No, then we're not cutting.
Dang it.
There's a lot to get through, and I don't want to make this a 3-hour video. So we can go ahead and.
But I do think what we've said is important.
It is, and there's nothing so far that I want to cut or trim, because I think everybody has a right to know. But moving on to what I think is some more lighthearted news, unless there's anything else you want to cover with the state of Playotic up to this point.
Oh, no. The production thing, I kind of went on a tangent with Ash because I wanted to make sure that Ash got her credit. The production thing, there's really not much else to add. I just wanted to address that you did ask me.
Yes.
But there's not much else to add right now. It may become more of an umbrella effect to a lot of the other stuff that we're doing. But ideally, it's just a way to help our friends.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Right. So, what is the front of the room?
Oh, me.
I mean, yes, rhetorical. Also, I mean, you could answer it, but that phrase, that name has been kind of floating around. Some people have been an active part of it recently. Some people have no idea what I'm talking about right now, or alluding to the elephant in the room that we discussed earlier. Yeah. The front of the room is my channel. That I have sole control over, that I created sort of in the wake of quitting Playotic, because I still wanted to make stuff for people. And truthfully, I didn't expect to sort of like land back into the hot seat of Playotic, which is why the front of the room was created. But that doesn't mean that I am now just abandoning it and throwing it to the wayside, because I still think it has potential. I still think it has a purpose. I just need to find sort of where it fits within the Playotic ecosystem. But mainly what I'm thinking, and we'll get into this a little bit later, is that we want to keep Playotic as tabletop stuff. And we think the front of the room is going to be our center for non-tabletop stuff. So if you like Plastic Ducks, if you like just watching us play a variety of games, whether it be Jackbox and other party games, or if you just want to see like Kaylee suffer through some challenge runs on Dark Souls or Pokemon, like that's where that's going to live. If we decide we want to just absolutely hate our lives and do a Halo Lasso run, Legendary All Skulls run on, that's going to be on the front of the room. We think, or rather we found, even after we rebranded from Faithful Encounters to Playotic, the reason we rebranded, for those that don't know, is because we felt kind of pigeonholed by the branding. That like, if all of a sudden we're playing Fortnite, everything is TTRPG themed, like the name, the channel points, the emote, like everything was tabletop themed. And we thought if we rebranded to Playotic, that would kind of open us up to some flexibility to do other non-tabletop content. But we found that people weren't really into that, or the people that were, people obviously liked it, but everything it was kind of confusing from a brand cohesion standpoint. And so by keeping Playotic tabletop focused and keeping the front of the room variety focused, for lack of better terms, it's going to help us make sure everybody kind of understands what brand, what type of content you can expect on each channel, as well as to just the freedom to explore stuff outside of tabletops without worrying about like, oh man, but what if somebody checks us out on one of these weird days we're doing non-tabletop stuff? So that's the purpose there. So if you're a part of the front of the room, don't leave, don't quit. We got plans for it. We got plans for both of them. We got lots of plans. If there's nothing else, all we got is plans, but we're working on actually putting those plans into action.
I guess just to like help if that long explanation didn't click something in you, people who know, and it's a big internet thing, so hopefully you know, but we've kind of described it, or at least I've described it as like there's Rooster Teeth and there's Achievement Hunter. So like they are part of the same company, they just do different content. Yeah. So very much that type of theme is what we're going for. So same company, different kinds of content, same-ish people.
Yeah.
So you may see people on the front of the room that never play in a TTRPG. Right. You may see people on Playotic that will never play on the front of the room. But you may see people on both, like me and Nolan, like we're going to be on both.
Yeah.
But that's kind of, hopefully that helps.
Yeah. And speaking of same-ish people, I wanted to kind of include some information about Nerds Can't in this sort of update video as well. I know there's a great number of there's a lot of overlap right now in these three different sort of communities, for lack of better terms. But I did reach out to Mick Thursday of this past, or I guess as we're recording it, I reached out to him yesterday to see if Nerds Can't wanted to provide some information about, what they are, how they started, what their goals are, what their aspirations are, what type of content you could expect from them. Basically whatever they wanted to, say about what they were doing, because, Sumner shouted them out in the sort of shutdown announcement. But unfortunately, he asked me not to include any information about Nerds Can't at this time. So I don't want to speak out of turn and tell you things that are wrong. I want to do him right by, he said, don't include any information, so I'm not going to. The only thing I will include is that, because they're not really part of Playotic, they're not part of the front of the room, we're not really going to have any news or updates about them now or going into the future. So it's not a division of Playotic. It's not, there's going to be some shared players. We're all still friends. So if you see, faces bouncing from one channel to the other, that's not unusual, but we're unlikely to have any news or information about them beyond this little passing snippet. So with that all said, we can skip over, because I kind of already covered why we split with my heart palpitations and stress and everything. But truly it's because I have had a couple of people's like, why can't you just do everything you're talking about under Playotic? It's a little A, little B, but really I think it works out better this way, having a clearly defined role for each channel, as well as it's truthfully, I think it's one of those things where you can't put it back in the box once it gets opened. Like we made the announcement that it's shutting down, and we're already kind of like doing a very hard thing by going, hey, whoa, no, we're not. But ultimately, there's a lot still getting figured out. Playotic and the front of the room may eventually fall under the umbrella of a shared production company, for lack of better terms. I don't know. We're figuring out if we're going. But speaking of figuring it out,
I think I want to go back real quick, just because I just want to emphasize this last bullet point.
Sure.
Of like, because we mentioned Nerds Can't. And then there were a lot of people wondering, like, is this new Playotic? We just, at least I do, I really want to emphasize that Nerds Can't is not Playotic. They are doing their own things, which is wonderful. Nerds Can't, unless you see some sort of like Playotic production thing moniker somewhere.
Like indicating that we've had a hand in the production.
Yeah. Because we said we want to help our friends, and they are still our friends. So if we make them title sequences, OBS layouts, what have you, there's going to be some sort of moniker on it that says
produced play in hand by
We made
Playotic or
it.
something. Yeah.
Not necessarily to like, oh, let's give us credit, but just literally like we want to endorse people that we like. So we will put our name next to something that we know we will like.
Right.
So that's just, I just really wanted to point that out. So like their layouts, everything that they do, their games, what have you, that is all them. Again, I want to make sure that was clear.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's an analogy that's been thrown around a lot lately, and I think it is apt if it's not cliche. For those of you unfamiliar, Blink-182 once split and did, I think it was Tom DeLonge that created Boxcar Racer, or maybe it was Mike Hoppus, one of the two of them. Anyway, the point being is that, I wanted to kind of get into some of this stuff, but ultimately I do want to respect their wishes and not include any information. But truthfully, they're wanting to do something that doesn't align with Playotic's branding / roadmap / vision, whatever you want to call it. And that's fine. That's cool. We got no disrespect for that. It's just ultimately they're going to have to tell you what it is, like what they're doing, because we've been asked not to really talk about it. So moving on to some brighter points and the future of things, content schedules and ideas. Number one, weekly news and updates. What we're doing right now. We do a big yearly state of things, or we have done one in the past. This is kind of the second unofficial one. I'd like to do that more frequently, personally. I don't know about weekly, maybe monthly, but I want to do better about keeping people informed of what our upcoming plans are, any games that we're fixing to run, any changes to anything. I know sometimes we make decisions and then we get questions like, hey, why did you change that? Why did you make this decision? And some people just want to know, and that's totally fine. We want to do better about keeping people informed. So I'm hoping we can do a more frequent, if not shorter, kind of news segment about, hey, we got a new game coming up in 2 weeks. Look forward to that. And like, hey, we're making a change on the Twitch channel for this reason, So you can hopefully look forward to that. We want to do some Let's Plays, playthroughs, reactions, other variety of content, as we kind of talked about. That's going to be all under on the front of the room branding. If you caught the Extra Life Game Day stream the other day, Kaylee and Ash did some decorating sense reactions, more stuff fun. Like that. We want to have fun. And sometimes tabletop is not the avenue to have fun. We want to be able to, we want to have fun all kinds of different ways. But ultimately, interactive tabletop like the Unprepared, Kaylee Runs a Game, that's all going to be continued to be released under the Playotic branding, even if it's not the same names. Kaylee Runs a Game at this point probably needs to have a new name, because the whole shtick of that was she's a new game master and doesn't know what she's doing, but she's very quickly becoming adept at it after running level 21 shots with all the nonsense that's built into that. A good DM. We want to do, I'm going to keep saying things are still getting figured out. Things are still in flux. We are aiming for weekly games. We might miss that aim a little bit. Those games might end up being semi-weekly or monthly. It's mostly going to be based on player availability until we kind of figure out a few things. But we also want to do some long-form stuff. Something I've wanted to do since Fate's Fortune got canceled years ago was a long-term campaign. And I think it's going to be released under the Playotic branding because it's tabletop related. I think I want to do it pre-recorded, podcast or vodcast style, because it's a drum I've been beating for a long time. It creates a level of flexibility for player availability that live streaming doesn't have. You stream 6 p.m. Tuesdays, you've got to be there 6 p.m. Tuesdays. And if you can't, then it doesn't happen. And so by doing pre-recorded content, we lose some of the channel points and bits and other interactivity, but it allows us, hypothetically, somebody's available one Saturday a month. We can record 6 episodes on one Saturday and then segment out those releases. And it opens up availability to people who otherwise might not be able to live stream. That said, I do still want to include ways for people to interact with those live streams or influence the game in some way. How exactly that's going to happen, I don't know yet. But I want there to still be, in my opinion, the interactivity is what makes us who we are. We want you all to be able to interact with us in meaningful ways and influence the games that we are playing. And if it's a pre-recorded game, that is no exception. We are going to find a way to make that work. Obviously, it's not going to have the same ability of being able to live interact with the game, but we will find a way for you to be able to influence it in meaningful ways. Anything else that you want to say on anything we've talked about so far, Kaylee?
No, I mean, I've always told Nolan from when I started becoming more involved is that my shtick is video games. I'm very adept at games, at least knowledge wise. My hands may not react very well, but I'm very much like that is my shtick and I'm very good at it. And that is something I enjoy. So including that in our content, especially from the front of the room's perspective, is something that I'm passionate about. So you'll probably see a lot more involvement from me in regards to that. And then the tabletop section, the fact that we are splitting the two, it just makes sense from a marketing perspective. And we're excited. We have come up with some content schedules, just some tentative ones. We do plan on doing both of them on a weekly basis. So you will be able to watch Playotic one day and watch the front of the room the next, basically. It's not necessarily going to be like we care about this channel more and then this channel more and then separating our attention from one to the other. It's very much going to be a combined push for both.
We had initially discussed, I don't want to linger on it for too long, but we did initially discuss, hey, let's just do everything on the front of the room and then Playotic can be basically the charity channel. But we very quickly realized, best case scenario, we maybe do one charity stream a month. And realistically, it would probably only be the Extra Life streams for a while. And so we didn't want to let the Playotic channel sit dormant for, 10, 11 months out of the year. So I think siloing it this way is going to be better off in the long run. And as we sort of, build out our ideas and get things set in stone, we can hopefully pick up some momentum and kind of get a little bit of a momentum going and start releasing all kinds of crazy stuff. Our idea lists are pages and pages and pages and pages long. I learned from Gup, I have a bad habit of just I've got this idea, put it out now. And Gup has really kind of reined that in from me a little bit. It's like, hey, it's okay to have an idea and sit on it for months. And so I've got a lot of ideas and I want to start putting them out, but there's a lot of cool stuff that we got planned basically. Moving on quickly here, because I want to keep this video under an hour if we can. Some of you may have noticed the Misty Mountain logo missing from our pre-stream countdowns lately. That is because we have been affiliates of Misty Mountain for a number of years now, but they are kind of going through a restructuring of their brand and their affiliate relationships right now, and so are we. And so unfortunately, that relationship has ended for now. But we are still affiliates with Die Hard Dice, and we want to find some ways to better integrate them with our games without feeling like it's just an annoying ad placement. I've had a lot of ideas over the years of how we can shout out Misty Mountain kind of naturally without it just feeling like and today's sponsor NordVPN. If we can avoid that, not a sponsor.
Unless you want to NordVPN.
Yeah, I mean, or, really Coke. If we're going to get sponsors, can we get sponsored by Coke Zero?
I don't know if Coke Zero needs sponsors, but if they do.
Look, if they're offering is all I'm saying. I drink a fuck ton of it.
Yeah, you do.
But anyway, all that to say, we want to find some better ways to implement Die Hard Dice in our stream. I've got the Die Hard Dice Tower, which I still haven't really figured out a good way to incorporate. But we do want to maintain and grow that partnership. So that's all that is. And then as far as some just quick general thoughts, rapid fire, lightning round, whatever the heck you want to call it, I am considering, rather more or less have decided, that all my games going forward are going to be Pathfinder 2nd Edition. It is a game system that I love. It is a game system I don't know very well. I started with Pathfinder 1st Edition. I made the switch to 5e because all my friends knew it. But I've just never escaped my love for Pathfinder, and I want to get back into it. I want to learn second edition. And so we're going to go ahead and make that hard switch. So if you're used to 5e, if you know 5e and you know nothing about Pathfinder, you can join me every time we run a game on Playotic, because I'm going to be learning on the fly. So it's going to be a little clunky for a bit as I learn the rules, but I'm going to do my best to learn the rules and help you learn them with me, so that as you're watching the stream, you can understand what exactly is going on.
On top of that, I will always be running 5e. So there's that. If you were just like, fuck Pathfinder for whatever reason, which is like kind of like Pathfinder's cool, but
yeah, Pathfinder's great.
But if you're just that person that's just like, fuck Pathfinder, which like each their own.
Yeah.
You can watch at least my monthly streams.
Yeah.
Which is going to be 5e. And then I know Ash has expressly said she wants to run like Vampire the Masquerade. And Gup has also talked about Call of Cthulhu. So we want to be a TTRPG stream, not just a D&D 5e stream. But if you are just like a D&D 5e diehard, like that will still be there.
Yeah, there will be a place for it for sure. Speaking of streaming, you may see us experiment a little bit with YouTube streaming, not like one or the other. We're gonna try some multi-streaming. I think there are some terms of service limitations there, like we're not allowed to combine the chat on stream or provide like a two different experience for one or the other. But I think I would like to try to do some multi-streaming for a little bit, just to get some analytics data on it. It's something that we've tried once or twice in the past, but we've never like really committed to long term. So I think I want to try that for a little bit just to see what happens. As far as the front of the room content, that is most likely going to be primarily YouTube pre-recorded content, whereas Playotic is going to be primarily live streamed content. There is going to be live stream on front of the room. There's also going to be pre-recorded on Playotic. It's a little bit of both, but we're trying to make some ideas come to life, and some of those ideas live better in some formats than others. Speaking of ads real quick on Twitch, I do want to kind of go over that, because we've flip-flopped our decision making over the years, and I want to kind of sort of discuss what I think we're going to be doing going forward. For a while now, we had been running 15-30 minute countdowns before the stream, just kind of running ad after ad after ad to build up basically a 3-hour block of uninterrupted content, which is great. We hate mid-rolls. We don't want you to have to feel like you're missing out what's happening because of an ad break. I hate seeing ads as much as anybody else. The problem, though, is when we do that, pre-rolls become enabled. So for those that don't know, we kind of have to choose. You either get a pre-roll when you click on the stream, and you have to sit through that advertisement or advertisements until you can actually see what's going on. So if you get the pre-rolls, you get no mid-rolls. But we don't like mid-rolls, so if you basically run an ad break, it's all super confusing. I'm confusing myself. But ultimately what it means is if we run an ad break in the middle of our game, people don't have to sit through pre-rolls. And I think that not having pre-rolls is more important than a brief interruption in the middle of the game. People that subscribe don't see those. Twitch Turbo subscribers don't see those. And we do our best when those ad rolls happen to pause what's going on, so people don't feel that FOMO of like, oh, I'm missing what's happening. Now I feel like I have to subscribe.
No. It's essentially like there's some data, because we don't have enough of it because we haven't really done one or the other for too long, but some data has essentially shown if we want new community members, get rid of pre-rolls.
Right, because nobody's going to click on a channel and watch 3 minutes of ads just to see what we're doing. And we may change our mind at some point down the road, and we might value not having the mid-rolls more than the pre-rolls. But we're going to change things up a little bit, see how it plays out, collect some data on it. So just want to let you all know, like, if like, hey, I don't remember there being mid-rolls. We're trying out a few things. We're collecting data points. And speaking of collecting data points, some engagement bait. Down below, if you want to comment any questions or point of views or anything that you want answered, I've always wanted to do sort of a fan mail aspect, for lack of, I'm sure there's a better term. Fan mail feels very like self-indulgent, but
we have fans.
We do have fans, and we kind of want mail. So if you want to,
it feels weird to say we have fans.
I know it feels gross, but I mean,
it's more like they're community members.
They're playmates. Like they are playmates. So
I don't know about fans. Like,
yes,
definitely like playmate sounds better than fans to me for some reason.
So in our weekly sort of news segment, or semi-weekly or monthly, however long we want to do that, if you comment down below on this video with some questions, or whether it be like DM advice or whatever, ask us a question. We'll go through that and we'll see if we can, if there's enough, or if there's a whole bunch, we'll pick a couple. If there's like a handful, we'll do our best to answer them all on each little news and update segment that we do. But that is all I've got. We're a couple seconds past an hour, so I want to kind of wrap this up. But is there anything else you want to discuss, Kaylee?
Yeah, I want to discuss something for at least 30 minutes.
Please don't.
I'm not going to.
It's not Vaporeon, right?
Do what?
It's not Vaporeon, right?
Hey guys, did you know when we're doing AV testing, I read the Vaporeon copy pasta?
Yeah. I've got to shout out Boomer Buck for this idea, but I just want to quickly say that I've never really been good at ending videos.